1, go.
Can you all hear me?
All right, we're back, I think. Should be working.
I hear you.
All right. There's somebody joining us.
I hear a lot of music.
Yeah, we play music at the beginning of the show.
Okay. Listen, I got Scott Wynn locked up in the other room. I just want to let y'all know this shit ain't going to work. It's not going to work. Don't do it. You know what's going on with all the other leagues. And you know what just happened with the biggest man in town. So, don't do it. Oh, shit, he's going to get out here in a minute. So, I'm just letting you know, don't do it.
I'm speechless.
I don't know who that is.
I'm just going to roll with this.
And I'm uncomfortable.
Look at this.
Okay.
Ew.
So welcome to the show, everybody.
Hello.
Don't ask us what's going on because we don't know.
If you never tune in again, I don't blame you. Didn't bother me.
What exactly?
Hey, sorry, man. That was my cousin Cletus. He's a little asshole sometimes. I don't even know what he said. What did he say?
I don't know what he said either. So
yeah, we couldn't really understand it. This is the most creative show so far, Josh. I'll say that.
I think he watched Ryan last week. That's where he got the idea from.
Oh, well, then.
He's a character.
That's true.
Scott, welcome back to the show, man. I think. So, what's going on, dude? Yeah, I think I had to add that in. I'm still trying to figure out if we're out of our mind or if Rio gets slipped some acid or something. But
no, I've been on that. He doesn't have like 4 heads.
He had one weird head.
Yeah. Well.
What drug produces one weird head?
So how you guys doing?
Good,
dude,
man. How are you?
No complaints. It's a beautiful day up here in Boston, so all is well.
Yeah, it's actually hot here in California. Got the AC on right now.
Yeah. We haven't had the AC up here yet. So, give us a lowdown on this thing you're starting, dude. Get into it.
Okay, so obviously it's out there already. It wasn't really supposed to be out and about. It was kind of sent to a lot of people to get their opinions, to get feedback and what they thought about how we should go about starting this league.
Yeah.
And I call it league after, really a lot of thought, because I really didn't want to call it a league because there's a lot of leagues now. But it is a real league when you think about it. You pay a membership fee and it actually makes it into a league. Where the other ones, that's just a title that they use.
Sure.
Basically, we're trying to eliminate having to rely on other people's promises and other people's money. By putting in a membership fee, we're basically making a pool of money to produce cash payouts for tournaments that Leonard Harkless puts on, Bill Collins, Karen Bean, anybody who is organized and wants to sanction their tournament with the membership, basically will get access to the prize pool. And as it grows, there'll be more tournaments and more prize pools, higher prize pools, right? So higher payouts, placing down to 6th place, hopefully 10th place. I actually just got off the phone with Corey Miller, and Corey's been tossing this idea around for the last 3 years. And I'm sure a lot of other people have too. Just nobody's actually taken the steps and I think the risk of trying to make something happen like this. You guys can hear me all right?
Yeah.
We're letting you talk.
Right on. And, you know, the reality of this situation is the arm wrestlers are the only ones that care about arm wrestlers. Sorry to say it, but that's the truth of the matter. And in saying that, arm wrestlers have a lot of attitude and a lot of ego for a sport that really isn't shit to a lot of people. I took a safety class, and I recruited the girl that gave the class. And she said, wow, I didn't know they had that. Right. And, you know, again, as we all heard, I grit my teeth, and I was like, well, I'm going to change that. Me and the whole community of arm wrestlers are going to change what people perceive as not a sport, but a hobby. So that's what I want to do, is I want to make it into a real professional sport. I think people can make a living at it, not just a few, a lot. You know, if we get this membership up to 5,000 people, right, that's $625,000. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, a lot of people want to know, where's the money going? Mm-hmm. Who's going to hold the money? So that seems to be one of the biggest questions. Well, the money's going to be transparent, and as transparent as possible. Corey's going to help me with that. He's got some ideas. Of course, it's going to cost money to run the website. I'm already into this thing for over $1,000. Of course, it's going to cost money to purchase the shirts, the hats, all the other merchandise that comes along with the packages. So keep in mind that those things will get paid out of the membership. Nobody's going to come out of pocket. But that's not going to take very much money compared to if we get 5,000 members at $625,000. That's basically $50,000 payouts at 12 tournaments. Okay? Break that down to placing, and I think you know, my math might be wrong, but it's like $1,500 for first, $750 for second, $500, $250, $100. So I think that's down to fifth place.
All right. So is this?
You could even go as far as $50 for six. You know, it gets you your entry fee back.
So is this league going to be open to everybody around the world, or are you starting off with just North America, or what?
Well, it sounds like North America will be participating in it the most first because it's local.
Sure.
But Vaskin's on board with this. Scott Mendelson's on board with this. Reza's on board. I'm pretty sure you two guys are on board. Matt Mask, Devin Lorette, Jerry Cataret. I talked to them all. They're all on board. Now, these guys are signed with Wall. But you know what? It doesn't keep them from arm wrestling in these tournaments. None of them are televised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So they're more than welcome to still try to come and win. You know, and when I say try to come and win, we get a chance to try to beat them. You know what I mean? It's not like none of those guys are invincible in my eyes, and none of them are elite in my eyes. That's my opinion. Everybody's beatable. You know what I mean? Any given day, that guy can be beaten. So, you know, I hope all the elite guys do join. And from what I understand, most of them are going to. So
let's get into some questions here, Scott, because I got a whole bunch of them coming up first. Already. First of them is what happens to, say you get in the first year, you get like 20 people that join up. What happens?
How many?
Just say you get 20 the first year, which is a very low number, but just for hypotheticals, what happens to the money that they give?
Well, the money is going to sit there, right? Mm-hmm. So right now the money's going to sit there unless you're a gold member, and there's a few of those. You know, you got merchandise coming. Otherwise, the money's going to sit there for now. If there's, let's see, what's 20? What's that? How much is that? $2,000?
Yeah.
$2,000. Well, maybe if that's all that joins, there'll be one tournament that's going to get $2,000, right? That's pretty much the way that would work. I mean, it'd be sad to say we only had 20, you know, arm wrestlers that believe in this sport. That's the way I feel. If you believe in this thing, then you believe in yourself, and you want to make the sport into something real.
And there's a couple questions from people about what leagues would be eligible. And from my conversation with you, it seemed like outside of WAL, anybody could be eligible.
Into something real. I'm sorry, say that again, John?
I said, it looks, I mean, for what you said to me earlier was that any league that is interested in participating in this could potentially benefit from the prize money if they put on a sufficiently significant event. Is that correct?
Yeah, for the most part. I wouldn't say just anybody. They've got to be organized, and part of the sanction is that they use certified referees. Mm-hmm. Certified meaning by Leonard or Bill Collins at this point. Mm-hmm. I don't know who else can certify. I'm going to find out if I can start certifying referees. I'm a senior ref now, so I don't know if you've got to be a master referee to be able to do that, but maybe they need to be able to set up some more people to be able to certify referees. That'd be nice.
Let's see here. So there's been a few questions. What happened? I just lost a whole bunch of my questions. Let me ask a question. So, in your mind, if it goes the way you hope, say within 12 months from now, how many events would you like to see this league providing prize money for?
Say that again. I'm sorry, brother. I shouldn't have been trying to read it too.
I'll read them. You can just listen to us. I'll read you all the questions, I promise. How many events would you like to give prize money to in the next year if you had your way?
At least 12.
Okay.
Because 12 would make a season, you know what I mean? And the idea behind that is that we have a nationals, and thank God it looks like we're going to finally have a unified nationals again. So, say following right after the second day of the tournament, maybe start it earlier that day so that it finishes by noon or 1 or 2. And then we all go to our rooms, shower up, come back, and attend a banquet where all the points winners from every class wins a cash prize, which will be divided out of whatever the membership fee, whatever the pool. All this stuff is being taken out of the pool, out of the membership. So all of it's going to be divided up equally. So as far as, I think somebody was saying something about weight classes, the women's and the men's are going to pay out equally. It's going to pay out to left and right-handed equally. So it all really depends on how much money's in that pool, to how much the points winner is going to win at the end of the year at the banquet. At the banquet, we're going to have awards for Arm Wrestler of the Year, for amateur and pro, Match of the Year, Ref of the Year, if I didn't say that already, and whatever. There's other awards too, I'm sure, that I'm not thinking of. But the banquet is basically, again, to make us a professional sport. Like every other sport, they have a banquet. I mean, high school teams have banquets, and we don't. So I think that would kind of solidify us as a sport too, is at the end of the year, we'd all gather together in an award ceremony.
Yeah, so it sounds like to me that that the main focus of this whole thing is to actually treat it like a sport instead of like a like a hobby. Like I've seen a couple conversations. I've had a conversation with Vazgen before. He's like, everybody shows up to tournaments in jeans and t-shirts, and we call each other athletes. So it's like, there's a thin first layer of athletics, and it's usually on the outside, and that's what's very tough sometimes with a person looking on the outside. Doesn't necessarily see that it's a sport because it doesn't look like it to them. And then if you describe it to them, maybe it doesn't even sound like it to them because it's not constructed in the same way that a regular sport would be. I don't think we talked about it plenty of times on the show. I think we probably talked about it when you were on the show last time, Scott, that
we did.
Yeah, things like, memberships and dues and stuff. It's kind of, what sport doesn't really have that? Every sport
that's legit has it. $125 a year. That's $10 a month. That's a McDonald's meal in one day. $10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what to say about the price as far as, I mean, that I don't, it's, to me, it's not that much money. And I'll be totally honest. And there's guys that I care about a lot out there. I would carry your your $125. You give me a written guarantee you're going to pay me $10 a month. I will pay your $125 for you. Just pay me $10 a month, and we'll be square. If you can't afford it.
There's a bunch of questions coming in. Let me get a couple of them into you, man, because they're stacking up on here. There's a couple people that don't like the idea of non-members not being able to get payouts, but I actually think that that's the only way to do it. I disagree with them because
that's not the way it works. They do win the money.
Okay,
they pay double the entry. If you're not a member, you're paying You're paying whatever $75, $80 to enter per arm. So if you're a member, you're paying whatever they're charging that day, $30, $40. That's the entry fee, and that goes to the promoter. Now, 15%, if they're sanctioned, obviously, they are paying 15% of their whatever they make out of their entry back to the membership. That goes back into the membership for Team USA to travel.
And this is a non-profit organization you have going, or for-profit?
Non-profit,
yeah.
Of course.
Just answering questions that people have here.
No.
So Herman Stevens comments that because of the current lack of women in the sport, do you think it's reasonable to offer equal prize money if you're getting a very divergent number of pullers in the two genders?
I think each competition and each organization should have guidelines for X amount of entries, maybe even pre-entries. If it's a sanctioned fee, they can do it like Corey wants to do. Corey talks about, he does a lot of stuff online. So, I mean, as far as on his computer or laptop, like his bracketing system, he does online. And then he also knows how to do, like he was talking about basically being able to, I think, give you like a scan number that he'd be able to just scan, and it would keep the statistics on you as a puller. And then as well, you're going to know how many members are in the league. So, if you know math, basic math, you'll be able to figure out how much money's in the pool.
Yeah, Patty just asked a question about that. Will there be some kind of reports that arm wrestlers can see in terms of the number of people that are joining up and the amount of money in escrow and that kind of stuff, so they can get an idea of how big it's getting?
I don't know how to do that as far as escrow and all that. Yeah, absolutely. That's, again, something Corey might know a little more about. But as far as, we want to have where you can click on the site and you're going to see every member with a picture. We're building this website as we speak. So I've been changing it every day. I actually saw it today, and they had put Los Angeles on the website. And I specifically told them, do not put Los Angeles anywhere on this website, because it's not about LA. It's not, these tournaments aren't here. They're all over the place. Mm-hmm. Wherever, like, my opinion is, Bill should pick his two best tournaments. Leonard and Denise should pick their two best, whether it's Arnold's and Louisiana or whatever. Basically, pick your tournaments that you already have great turnouts at, and as long as we need to section them out all over the place, up where you guys live, on the South, Midwest, all over the place.
Yeah. I like the idea. I mean, we've talked about this before, Scott, and, I think John and I were whining about it several times that somebody needs to step up and do it. I'm glad you're doing it. I mean, I think you're right. The character you had on earlier is probably correct. There's going to be a lot of pessimism about it. And, but one thing that people out there remember is that not everybody is going to scam you for your money. There's a lot of people in the sport that are honest and that are interested in promoting the sport above their own personal interests. I personally think you're one of those guys, Scott, and I think you're a great person to start this off. Paul Lynn just gave you a comment, a pretty decent shout out about why he joined up early and that he has a lot of faith in your effort here and just efforts in general to try to promote the sport. And we do need this kind of thing. And frankly, if you only get 40 or 50 people in the first year, that's still going to be a significant amount of money for an event.
Hey, it might take a minute to build it. You know, it's one of those things people will see and maybe they'll jump on board. They'll be a little slow, and that is part of the reason why there is an introductory rate. You know, you've got 6 months. This thing's not supposed to launch till June. Like I said, this thing leaked out. It was never supposed to be posted yet, but in a way it's good because everybody's chewing on it. It's probably better now it's being chewed on, and hopefully by June, everybody feels a little bit more comfortable about it or confident about it, or they look at it as an investment and they believe in it. And it gets up and rolling, and people start jumping on like fire. And
I'll ask you a couple of questions from me. One of them is, if you're someone who's, for example, if you're an amateur arm wrestler and you're just getting started in the sport and you're not likely to be placing in the top 6, what is your motivation for joining this league?
It's the same thing as the Open. If you're an amateur, you want to take first place. So, I mean, that's a gimme. Everybody wants to be the best in their division. If you're amateur, you're trying to be in the top. You have the point system too.
Yeah.
Okay? So the amateurs, the same thing. It's a points race. So at the end of the 12 tournaments or the end of the season, after the nationals, at the banquet, hopefully if it all goes like that, the amateurs will have the same thing. The guy with the most points will have a custom award. Mm-hmm. They're not going to win money. They're not professional. They'd be in the Open if they wanted to win money.
Mm-hmm.
And placing down to 6th place, shoot, who knows? They could win money. A lot of those guys go both.
What will the process be for selecting the leagues that you are going to provide prize money for?
Say that again?
What will the process be to select the leagues that are going to get prize money? Like, how will you decide which events? I mean, obviously, there's some that you mentioned, nationals. Well, I don't know if nationals is going to be one that you use or not, but regardless of that, I mean, how are you going to select leagues, basically, is what I'm getting at.
I think the nationals definitely has to be one of them, without a doubt. It has to have. We have to have prize money at the nationals. We have to have prize money at WAF. I mean, we're way overdue. It's ridiculous that we're not. Those, like people say, it isn't. I hate to say it, but it is amateur when it comes down to it. It really is. It's not professional because you don't win money. Am I wrong?
Well, I would argue with you about it. I can't argue with you about the money thing. I mean, and I had this argument with somebody online, and they pointed out that you do, in fact, get paid for Olympic medals in a lot of countries, including the United States. But I mean, it's the world title, so it comes with its own prestige, and I think that matters. But I do think you're right that if there was a way for this to explode into popularity around the world and it provided money for WAF, that would be insane. I mean, that would be amazing.
Now, if we're worldwide and we get 20,000 members, we could easily do that. Easily. I mean, we're over $2 million. Mm-hmm. We would have, guys would be making a living. You wouldn't work. You would arm wrestle. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, do you want to do that? I mean, I get chills talking about it. I'm 53 years old. And I know you guys probably know this, and maybe a lot of people out there know, but we've made a step in the right direction with WAF, right? We're now on the Olympic ballot. Mm-hmm. Arm wrestling might just be an Olympic sport sometime in the future.
It's very possible. We're definitely closer than ever, and something like this, a unified league that was worldwide, is obviously a huge step. Having a unified nationals in the United States is a big step as well towards that goal. So, I mean, there is a lot of positive stuff happening. How about going over the various price points that you have? There's a bunch of people asking about it, and Paul's mentioning, and so is Raymond, about the free table you get if you join.
Don't say that, man. You're going to piss off Brady Ellis. Free table.
Well, it's not free. It's not free. You basically have to. What do you have to pay? $500 or something like that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, John. You just stabbed him in the back a little bit.
I didn't do anything.
I'm sorry,
Josh. Don't put it on me.
I'm reading comments on here. I'm not stabbing anybody, man.
Yeah, Brady Ellis is doing an amazing thing for this sport, and he does not have to do it. He is, trust me, has called me several times telling me how nervous he is about doing this.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, I want to keep it in the family. You know what? There's a lot of guys out there that are making some cool shit out there as far as handles and all kinds of workout stuff. Why not make them money, right? Why not keep them in the circle? Ray Cody is giving his handle up at cost. That's, I mean, he don't have to do that. They're giving their product away just about. You know, Brady's taking a big hit on this, and you know, all I can say is take advantage of it. You know, he don't like me saying that, I'm sure, but I mean, if I didn't have 2 tables already, I would be all over it. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. But it's what it's really made for is the newcomer, because most guys that arm wrestle already have a table.
Yeah.
So the newcomer comes in, or their dad sees this league, and he goes, "Wow, son, this looks pretty cool. This is a sport you can compete in without needing a team or needing, you know, to go to some type of lessons. You can learn, get a table, form your own practice, and you got a workout tool too that's going to make you incredibly strong." So, and that's the Country Crush, of course. So, and the table design that Brady came up with, I don't know if you guys seen it, but it's outstanding.
Yeah, it's right.
They're good tables. They're great tables.
And I think it's $20 you can get your team name put on it. And then if you want to just get a whole completely custom table, you can ask him about that, and I'm sure he'll give you a good deal on that. You know? But
it's an example of, you know, people have some faith in you, Scott. Several people have posted that you're one of the good guys and that they would trust you in this endeavor. And the fact that Brady and Ray are doing what they can to help out as well says a lot by itself. I think it's going to be successful, man. I mean, I feel like we need a league like this. I think that, you know, my son's doing the climbing thing, and everybody has to be a member of USA Climbing to participate,
sure.
You know, to qualify for nationals and that stuff, and then to go to Worlds. And it would be nice to have it organized here. I mean, it does make it far more professional than it is right now, and it ends a lot of arguments that we have about certain things in terms of consistency and rules and certified referees and all that kinds of stuff that you brought up already. So, I mean, it is a huge step towards professionalism.
Hey, if you got anybody out there who's got any ideas, we're a team, man. This is all us together trying to make the best situation we can make for this sport to make it into a real sport that people know about. And I love, whether you trust me or not, I love this sport. I don't know if you watch or pay attention. I arm wrestle as much as I can. I actually don't know anybody that arm wrestles as much as I do. I've always been, my heart's always been in the sport since a little kid. So, and it still is. And it kills me that all these years have gone by and I still have to deal with the rhetoric of people talking that this sport is not legit. You know?
Yeah. There's always going to be people saying that, regardless. But what are the price points? We're going to talk about the different levels of membership.
Basically, the gold membership, you're getting a combat arm sports table, 2-inch Country Crush handle. But if you already have a Country Crush handle, you can swap that out for a Raptor, or look online and see what other handles he's got. I think he's got a 2.5-inch. And then he's got the Monster Crush. So you have a choice, and we're gonna, you know, add that onto the website eventually. It all takes time, but you got a choice if you already have one of those handles. And then the silver membership is just the 2-inch Country Crush handle. That's $200. It'll go up at the first of the year, and then the basic membership is the bronze membership. So, and with all of the above and the bronze membership, you get a league hat, a league shirt, and then we're going to have league cards, hopefully with your picture on it. So you'll actually pull it out of your wallet and say, yeah, check it out. I belong to a membership. It's arm wrestling.
Mm-hmm. That's very cool, man. I like that.
Yeah,
and I do think it's a great way to get into the sport. You pay $500, you get a good tool, you get a table, and you get membership in the league.
I mean, how can you beat that deal?
Can't
Seriously. It's crazy.
As you said, a lot of people pay more than $500 for a table, period. So it's an excellent deal.
And the table's outstanding.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
tables.
they are good tables. I've trained in
regardless of what Mazarenko thinks, they're great tables.
Yeah, that table don't shake. That table don't shake loose. Me and Brady actually had a little conversation. From what I understand, we made the decision we're making the pads a little bit denser, the elbow pads. So they're gonna be thicker, denser, so that it absorbs the elbow a little bit more. I would love to adopt Leonard's pads. They're fantastic. I think it's the way to go. And maybe we can. We'll talk to Brady. And also on the new tables, you'll be able to center the pads up. There'll be holes where you can put them straight across. You'll be able to offset them and put them straight across. I prefer straight across. I think we should bring straight across back. And I actually plan on holding my own tournaments. PNAW, which I don't know, I think we've talked about that, Pro Nation Arm Wrestling, is the association, will be my own arm wrestling association, that my tournaments will be straight across pads. And there'll be more enforced rules, meaning slipping won't be an option. Yanking your elbow up and yanking out of the match is instant disqualification. But I don't want to get off track. But I just want to bring the sport into a more legit looking presentation to the public, because that's my aim. I'm going outside of arm wrestling. You guys are great, and we all communicate within our circle. Unfortunately, we need to break out of that circle.
I agree.
So, and in saying that, that's where I'm working on a TV show, right? So it's in process. I got people that are interested and people that are helping me get this thing looked at. And the premise of that is 4 teams compete against each other. A guy in each class and their women in each of their class represented. The team that wins out of the 4 teams moves on to a championship. That simple.
I mean, it sounds great, man. I mean, it's something we need, and there's a lot of people excited about it. Ryan Bowen just said he's going to get you a bunch of memberships from Australia, which means you're going to have to figure out how to send them some loot for a tournament over there, which is a good problem to have.
I would love to go to Australia. Are you kidding me? If I could go there and win $3,000, it would be worth it, wouldn't it? Right, John? I mean, think about it. If you can't go there and at least break even, then you're coming out of pocket. And if you're going on vacation, great, and make an arm wrestling tournament, that'd be cool. But to be able to actually plan the trip and go there to try to win some decent cash money and go to Australia at the same time.
Yeah, hell yeah. I would do that too. I would go to Australia even if I had no chance of winning money. So,
Scott, how many memberships do you think you're gonna get in the first year?
I don't know, John.
Yeah.
I can't speculate because there was a lot of negative vibes today that was really unnecessary. Because if anything, why don't you give me your positive feed? Why don't you give me the idea that you think is going to succeed? Because we're going to incorporate it. We want it to succeed. Don't knock the idea. If it makes sense, then make sense of it. Because nothing's going to get done otherwise. Like I said before, we'll just continue on the same roller coaster ride. If you're not one of the elite, right, and sign a 5-year contract, you make your own decision. I think long term, this is the way to go. If we get a membership and we all just keep paying $125 a year, we're golden.
Yeah.
We're good, man. We got our kids that come up in this sport. They'll have a future. Like I said, I'm 53. I'm hanging on right now. So, and I think that's great too, because this sport, there's no other sport like it. You know what I mean? You could be 15 and kick ass, or 53 and kick ass. Or Norm Devio, I think they said he's 77. So, I mean, God bless him. What other sport did you say that about?
A little confusion based on a couple of comments on here about rules that'll be followed. I don't think that you were suggesting changing the WAF rules. I think that
absolutely not.
Yeah.
That we're talking about me solo putting on a tournament.
Right.
And like any other organization, they have their rules the way they.
Exactly. Yeah.
Their rules are their rules.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's cool and provides a little diversity anyway.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the bottom line is most of the rules are keep contact with your elbow with the pad at all times, right? Mm-hmm. I think everybody's rules pretty much state that. Whether they're
all on paper.
Yeah, right.
Not on camera.
Right. I mean, about this. I'm a fan of the running foul. Like, why stop a match, right?
What do you think about, is there going to be like a fee for leagues to be considered as part of your league? So, for example, will the USAA have to pay anything to be part of this organization, or is the decisions on which leagues you're involved with going to be made by some committee?
Any league that wants to sanction their tournament, so they're going to pay a fee to sanction it. Mm-hmm. We haven't come up with an exact amount. I talked to Leonard about this a little bit. Bill Collins, he's going to have some. Everybody can have some input in that, but there'll be a sanctioning fee, and that sanctioning fee goes back into the membership, which goes to Team USA. Now, when I say that, these are the promoters that are putting back the 15% back into the membership out of their entries. And they're also sanctioning their tournament with the league. All that money is to go towards USA team, right? Now, anybody else, the regular membership money really isn't meant to go for Team USA, because that would mean other countries or anybody else that were to join this membership would be paying for Team USA and not their own country.
Right.
So by doing 15% out of their entries, which I think, if you made $3,000, it's like $450 out of your kitty that goes back into the membership. Mm-hmm. And then say we charge them, I don't know, I couldn't even say $300, $400, or $500 to sanction their tournament. That as well goes back in to the membership to go towards Team USA. Unless it's a tournament outside the country, then none of their money would go back into that kitty. Actually, maybe we make it, I don't know, maybe that's an idea right there. So let's say Australia joins up with members, right? Mm-hmm. So their members get a kickback at their tournaments, right? So at their tournaments, they could have a fee that goes back towards Team Australia, Australia. That makes sense?
Yeah.
That's actually a good idea.
Speaking of that, are you going to be recruiting people to join this organization from different countries and different parts of our sport? And as a follow-up, do you plan on having any paid positions in this organization?
I think that, definitely, as it grows, we're going to have people that have to correspond with us to communicate back and forth to be able to throw a tournament. Like Vaskin's perfect for that. Vaskin is European, right? Mm-hmm. So he speaks the language. He knows. Vaskin's amazing. So he'll support this thing, and hopefully in a year from now, everybody who's not from this country is looking at this and going, "This is pretty cool. We should join in and make this a worldwide sport."
I like the idea.
I mean, Europe's already, they're ahead of us, right?
They're ahead of us, but they don't have
they kind of look at this as a real sport.
They're ahead of us in some ways, but on the other hand, they don't have an overarching league that covers everyone over there like this. So there is a need for it. The WAF might be the big event that everybody runs towards, but it doesn't mean that you can't have a league that's both supports it and other local events. I think most sports have that, in the sense that you have, like the NBA has the Players Association, etc. Like there's always something like this for arm wrestlers that provides some sort of buttress to the sport in general, and we don't have it in arm wrestling, so there's a need for it everywhere.
Now my idea with the TV show, right? So we get this TV show going, right? And hopefully on real TV, right? So my idea is a triangle. If you saw it or have an idea, it's a 3-sided triangle. 2 sides of the tunnel that enter in athletes, right? The front side of the triangle is open. It's an audience where bleachers go up. You're looking down like an arena into the triangle. Okay, there's a camera at the top. There's a camera on all 3 legs. There's 2 cameramen. Okay, that's the filming of it. Now on the bleachers, we're looking at box seats, right? Glass. This is a set, basically, right? A stage. You have your team captains or owners, right, up in these box seats. So eventually, teams will be owned by somebody, whether it's some millionaire, some corporation. That's hopefully what this turns into, that they see the aspect of arm wrestling being a sport with a team where you can basically have a following, like we're West Coast Arm Bandits. West Coast Arm Bandits against, another team, 3 other teams, Australia, Canada, and we'll say, a team from Alabama, right? All of those people are going to be following who? Their teams, right? Mm-hmm. So there's your fan base. They'll be watching it. They'll be like, I don't like that guy, Scott Wynn from California. He's a real dickhead. I hope that Canadian smashes him. You know what I mean? Or the Canadians are, cheering for the Canadians. You get the idea, but that's how we're going to get a fan base. That's the only way we're going to go outside the circle and bring people in. Games, we talk about Game of Arms, Mm-hmm. It did pretty good for considering the storyline and, how they trashed our sport per se, but they made characters out of those guys, and they did a damn good job.
Yeah, that's for sure. They got a lot of eyes on it.
And it surprises me that someone hasn't tried to start another show based on the success of it. I mean, it did a much better job than most television shows that are on today.
I'm surprised nobody picked it up. But again, this is, who knows? Maybe somebody will. Maybe Wall. Wall is Game of Arms. It's the same people. So maybe they'll do something with it eventually once they build these characters back up. Maybe. Who knows?
Well, I think it's exciting that you have so many of the big names interested in being involved, or at least at the early stages of discussing it. Anthony Ontario is watching right now. He's interested in PAF getting involved in it. If you get the big guys in around this country, that says a lot by itself. And, Canada and maybe Mexico, not that far away, and then Australia and a few other countries get joined in, and you've got a real international organization, and that would be an amazing start.
Sure. The U.S. Open, that's why I went, because the Canadians come down for it. I wanted to pull Anthony again, even though he schooled me again. He comes down and he cleans house. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think he won, I don't know how much he won, but he won 4 first place. And, if the U.S. Open should be a big payout. That's a big title. It should be huge. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, that location, if you guys haven't been there, Josh, John.
That's in Oregon?
Oregon. It's the coast, Oregon. The casino's literally almost on the water. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. And the people up there, Oregonians, they're just genuinely nice people. So it's like there's no stress up there. You kind of actually go stress-free.
So Del Antonio came down for that?
Yeah, he came down pretty much. I don't think he had a match.
Damn it.
He literally controlled everybody.
You don't see him pulling enough, man. That guy is so damn good.
I agree 100%.
Could he make 76 though?
He made 71 that one year we did the round robin. And,
right.
So, and I'll never do that again. He's like saying the same thing.
Speaking of weights, and you in particular, are you going to get down to 76 for that event with Alan Fisher coming up in a little while?
Going to the steam room right after I get off this.
When is that event happening again?
Saturday.
This Saturday. Oh, Jesus. Well, what are you weighing right now?
Like maybe 178. I'm real close.
Oh, you're good. You're good to go.
Oh, man. I don't think you need to get in the steam room tonight. Save that for tomorrow.
Well, I'll be close.
So talk about this event a little bit, with the round robin. How did it get set up? How did you get invited? What do you think your chances are, etc.?
I think I'm going to win it. Travis pretty much, it's Travis's tournament, and it's called the Alan Fisher, what's it called?
Invitational.
Yeah, Alan Fisher Invitational. So I just caught wind of it. I knew that there was a couple tournaments down south, and then I seen they put up that board, and they had a couple people up on it. And 176 is my class. You know what I mean? I tried my hardest to get up to 195, and when I finally did, I was a fat cow, and I was from hurting my back and sitting on the couch is how I achieved it. So now I'm trying to lose all that weight and get back down to 176. I hover at 183, so I can go 185 or 176. And I just really remember my tendonitis in my right elbow was really bad. So I went back to work, and it actually helped my arm, like the movement and using it again, and I guess just getting the blood flow. The tendonitis is finally tapered off. Still hurts when I release from pulling, but as far as to touch and moving my arm or doing tricep maneuvers, it's hurting, thank God. So that's a plus. So I really haven't trained at all, just been arm wrestling just about every weekend. So it's just healing in between.
That's cool, man. I mean, good luck to you. It'd be fun. It'd be awesome if you won it. I mean, I haven't seen the full list of everybody that's doing it. I saw, Alan and Adam Wilmot and you and a few other people. But I like the idea of it. It's exciting. I hope we get to see it. I hope they're going to do live streaming. I don't know if they are or not, but
yeah, I think it's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, winner takes all, and it'd be like $900.
That's pretty cool.
Is it 12 or 16 people?
8.
8. Okay.
Yeah, and it's round robin, so if
it's gonna be beastly, man.
Yeah, everybody arm wrestles each other.
Right.
So.
Yeah, endurance is going to be the key factor for the victor, man.
Yeah.
So that's going to play a much huger role than it would a normal tournament.
You got some of that, Scott. You got some of that.
Dude, I got a little bit left, I think.
I think that's one of the best assets of older arm wrestlers is endurance. For whatever reason, we do tend to have a lot of it. Maybe it's just the years of pulling or what have you, and the way we train. But there's a lot of older guys that can waste. Norm Devio is a great example. He might get beat a few times in the early part of the night, but by the end of the night, he's beating everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's something else.
Good luck, man. Congrats making 176 relatively easily, too, considering, what were you at Nationals, like 192 or something like that?
Yeah, right around that, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You could see the pot belly, too.
So, Turkey, are you going to go?
Turkey's on the list. Last year, I got hurt at work just before Budapest and hurt my left wrist pretty bad and hurt my back, which is still giving me a little bit of problems. Just had an adjustment today, but I got really bad sciatica. But no, the plan is to go. I mean, it's all inclusive, I heard, so $80 a day.
Yeah, it's hard to say no to that. It's supposed to be somewhat like, the Disney version of Disney World or something. I mean, the Turkey version of Disney World or something like that. Like, it's an enclosed resort town, which has its pluses and minuses, but I think it's certainly by far the best venue that WAF has had in the last 5 or 6 years, so I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to make Zalati this year, too. I've never been. And I'll put it out there right now. Pasquale Gerard, I'll take a super match with you.
That'd be a good match.
I think so, too.
I'd love to see that.
Speaking of endurance, Pascal, with that little lock he has, he's tough.
He's something else. I mean, like I said, it's a challenge for me, but you guys all know I don't lose super matches.
That'd be a lot of fun to watch. That'd be a good one.
I think it would.
I support it.
Make it happen.
So what else we got going on? Anything else you want to talk about with this league before we move along?
You see any questions that you think that we need to address?
I got I mean, people ask the same question a bunch of times, and I paraphrased them, and I think I got almost all of them in. I'll check quickly here while you fill up the time.
Just to clarify, it's not me. I mean, I am responsible for starting this thing up and taking that step, but this is a team effort. Like I said, Baskin's on board. Scott Mendelson's on board. The guy's got a huge following. And he also knows the ins and outs of how memberships work. And he told me, and kind of, more or less, I already knew this, but really pounded into my head, like, everybody pays membership. The Strength Sport pays a membership, and then they pay way more in their entry fee. They pay like $150 to $250.
Powerlifting's expensive, man.
Yeah. I mean, they win money, of course, but we're not asking for that. We're kind of doing it the reverse way, and we're not asking for a lot when we say $125. And when I say we, that's us. That's all of our money. It's not somebody's money. It's everybody's money, And I know, like, Herman Stevens and I talked about this early on. I respect Herman a lot and his opinions. So, and Baskin too. We talked about this in depth. Not that in depth, but we talked about it, and I got an idea of how he felt and how certain things are going to be misinterpreted.
Oh, of course.
We've had black sheeps. You know what I mean? We've had some amazing things done in the past with the same black sheeps. So we can't knock them 100%. But I mean, God bless you guys that sign contracts. And I wish you the best. I hope it blows up. But I hope it doesn't restrict you from, doing what you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you saw Travis's post. It clearly is restricting him. I mean, that's another topic for another century. But
yeah. Well, jumping ship, all that's a whole other topic.
Here's one question we missed about the point system from Donnie Milner, which is... the point system, is that going to be something that's updated in real time? Like, is it going to be connected to Corey Miller's bracket system so that it can auto update? Or is it going to be
yeah, if it does that, I'm pretty sure he's trying to adapt a system that would keep track of the points. Yeah, he has a bar system. I was supposed to tag him to this before it came on, and I didn't. But
it'll be online. You can watch it.
Right. Well, I wanted him to chime in. We got Reza out in Vegas. He's a part of this. He's connected to the Europeans, and he's a smart dude. And he's an asset. So he's helping out any way he can. And again, I'm open to anybody that wants to be a part of this that thinks they can better it and help it along. Let me know. You know what I mean? Email me, hit me up on Facebook. Paul Lynn's reached out. He's, Pennsylvania. Perfect. Mm-hmm. There you go. Paul Lynn will be the Pennsylvania representative, more or less. He can help organize the tournaments that get the funding. Figure out which tournaments are they asked, which tournaments are going to get picked. Okay. Well, we're obviously going to go with the people that are putting tournaments on now. There ain't a lot of them. There's a lot of tournaments, but pretty much there's not a lot of promoters that are decent size, right? So those guys are basically probably going to get first dibs and going to want first dibs because they already get turnouts. It's their turnout, And so long as they're spread out, that's the key point too. We want this in all corners and right in the middle. We don't want nobody needs to be left out, and I want to pull everybody on the planet. That's my weight class. That's for me. That's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. That's what I like to do is arm wrestle. So the more guys I pull and arm wrestle, the better. And if it's a matter of competition, then I'm making my ego bigger.
It's exciting, man. I love the idea. I'm glad you came on to explain it to people, and I would say of the comments we've got tonight, there's been quite a few. 99% of them are positive. Oh, here's a good one I missed. Do you foresee this league being a tested league?
I think with the membership fee, yeah, why not? But it's not, obviously, it's something we'd have to work into because we got to build it first.
Future goal.
We got to build it first. Hey, if you want to use steroids, all the power to you. You like, taking the risk on your health and your tendons. If you notice, there's a lot of guys that get injured that are the elite. So, the risk is on you as far as that goes. I love beating guys that are on the juice. I just love it because juice does not make you a good arm wrestler. You may be strong, it doesn't make you good.
Chris Gobby just suggested that you pull him.
Who?
Chris Gobby.
Gobby don't have a chance.
There you go, Chris. Yeah, you guys can have a super match at the New England Championships. Come on up here. We'll make it happen.
Which one?
New England Championships.
When's that?
Usually October. It's the biggest event we have in this area.
When's Worlds?
Yeah, it's in October, too.
Right.
What's your point?
Bad timing, right?
Bad time, yeah. It's why I usually run it. I don't participate because I don't, but that's a good point. Yeah, if you're going to come up here for that, we'll have to move till November or something.
Right.
Anyway. Scott, this has been awesome. You answered a lot of questions, and
I answered them all. I mean, there's nothing to hide here. No secrets, nothing to hide. Again, if you got any positive comments or ideas to make it better, put them out there. We're all hungry. I mean, I'm hungry. I'm sick of, eating here and there. It takes away from the sport. And, I honestly want my son to look up to the sport. And right now he doesn't. And it hurts me a lot that he doesn't. So that's a big thing to me. But regardless of that, I love the sport. My heart's in the sport. So nobody's going to steer you wrong. And, just real quick to touch on the membership. Again, the lower membership, the money's just going to sit there. So if we get enough to throw a tournament, we will. If not, the money will go back to you. It's not going anywhere. So it's not going to be spent. Excited the guys that are buying the gold package. They can,
awesome.
They're going to get their products and stuff. But be patient. And, this thing, like I said, is supposed to launch June 1st, but it's already open for membership. The website's still changing and being built. Things are constantly changing with this thing until we perfect it. And, other than that, I hope you guys join and believe in it and invest in your sport.
I'm definitely going to join, no question.
Right on.
Got one
And
from me,
hopefully
Scott.
Hopefully a bunch of these guys watching tonight will be in on it, and I think it's a great idea. I wish you all the success, and any support that we can provide, we definitely will, because it's right up our alley. It's awesome, and thanks very much, man, for coming on here and spending an hour with us and explaining it to everybody. Hopefully we'll have you on again soon to talk about your 500th member.
In your super match with Pascal, man. Let's not overlook the important part here.
Sure. Hey, it'd be cool. Also, maybe we'll do like a 500th member giveaway, right? Cool. And then they just get something for free.
I think that'd be awesome. I mean, I think it's fantastic. It's a great idea, and I think it is going to take off. And
but I want to,
you'll get to pull Pascal at Worlds, most likely.
Oh yeah, that's right. But I want to beat him for money. Go over there,
and a bunch of times in a row.
I do want a gold medal. I don't have a gold medal, so I do need to add that into the collection. But I wanted to apologize about Cletus, coming on here and making a little mockery. But
Cletus can come back anytime too.
No, we can't, Josh.
Come on, can you come back once? I want to.
Cletus likes hanging out with Tom Nelson and Matt.
Oh, gotcha.
Suspicious about Cletus.
Now it makes sense, Scott. It makes sense now.
I feel like I've seen Cletus before somewhere. That's why I wanted to come back one more time so I can just get a good look at him, see if I can figure out what's going on there. But anyway, man, appreciate it very much for coming on. Thank you, and we'll talk soon. And thanks everybody for watching. And you know how to get in touch with Scott. UnitedArmWrestlingLeague.com. Look it up and sign up. Until next time.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Later.
Peace. Adios.